Walter, how are you?
What's up, Mario? How are you?
Good.
Everything okay?
Thank God.
Good. Let me just get my Gemara. What's going on? How's Anna?
Good. Thank God.
Switch off the recording. The recording's on.
Sorry?
Switch off the recording.
Yeah.
What's over?
Shavuot 110.
We actually finished on the bottom of Kuf Tes Amud Beis, 109b. Harabar minayin lekohen, sheba'u makriv korbanos b'choleis kol shashi yirtzeh. Then, the Kohanim were divided into families. Each family worked for a week. There were 24 families, so they would work for a week, and then they'd come back 25 weeks later and work for a week.
There's a mishmar, right? It's called a mishmar.
Each mishmar worked for 1 week. And of course, during that mishmar, the Kohanim of that mishmar would be makriv the korbanos. They would keep whatever is entitled to them. But this brisa says that a Kohen, any Kohen, could be makriv his own korban anytime he wants. He doesn't have to wait until his mishmar.
Sorry, you put the recorder back on?
It is recording, Walter.
Okay, good. Okay. Sorry.
Talmud loymar, uva b'chol avas nafsho, ela makom asher yivchar Hashem b'shireis. He could come at any time. Uminayin she'avodata. So what about the eating of the meat of that behemoth? Or the hide of that behemoth? He could keep v'ora shelo. Talmud loymar v'ish es kadoshav lo iyu. That the kachim would belong to him. Haketza. Am I a balmum? Now, a kohen who's a balmum cannot do the avoda. He can eat, but he can't be makriv. So he cannot choose a shaliach of his choice. He has to give it to the kohanim of that mishmar. But avodata v'ora shalom. But he can eat the meat, and he gets the hide. Imay a zokin a chola. A zokin or a chola, they could do the avoda, just that it's hard for them, and they cannot eat because of their age or their illness. Nosel kol kohen sheyirtzeh. A Kohen Zaken or Chola can give to any Kohen he wants as a Shaliach. He doesn't have to give it to the Kohanim of that Mishmar. But Avodata v'ora la'anshe Mishmar. The meat and the hide goes to that Mishmar. Now the Gemara wants to know, Hai Zaken or Chola echidami. What's an example of a Zaken or Chola here? Avoda, if he has the wherewithal to do the avoda, so avodata v'oranamitavidide, he should be able to keep the meat and the hide. Idlomatzi ovid, if he cannot do the avoda shliach echimatri. How is it? If he cannot do the avoda, how can he appoint a shaliach to do it? It should have been done by the kohanim of that mishmar. Amrav Papa, sheyachal lasos ayidei adchak. He can do it, but not easily. So avoda dechi avid le'al yidei adchak. Avoda that is done difficultly, it's still avodahi. So therefore, to appoint a shaliach to do the avoda, mashvi shaliach. Aval achila, if you force yourself to eat, that's not called an achila. That's an achila gasa. Achila gasa lav klumu. Mishmachi, you can't. The eating of it, the avodata, v'ora la'anshe mishma. On Rav Sheshes. Imaya koin tome, bekorban sibor. You have a family, a mishma that's working in the Beis Hamikdash, and there's a korban sibor that has to be offered, and now he's tamei, so he cannot do the avoda. No salchomi shiyirtze. He doesn't have to give it to the kohanim of that mishmar. He can give it to anyone he wants. But avodatav oral anshe mishmar, the eating of the meat and the high goes to the mishmar. Hechidam. So if there are kohanim tahirim, tmei mimatzu avdi, why would tmeim have anything to do with this korban? Only a kohen tor should do the korban. Ida leka tahirim. If 100% of the kohanim there are tamei, so now the korban sibor is offered because korban sibor is hutra b't sibor. So avodatav oral anshe mishmar hatmeim ninu. Even though they might be able to offer it, lo matzi ochli. You can offer the korban, you can't eat it. So amarava ema lebale mumin tohorin shabois mishmar. A Baal Mum cannot do the avodah, but he can eat. So if they have Baal Mum Tor, he can eat the meat. On Ravash. Imhaya Kohen Gadol Oine. The first day when a person loses a family member, he's an Onen. So a Kohen Gadol becomes an Onen on his first day. And there's an animal for him to be makriv. He can't be makriv as an onen. No, snala kol kohen sheyirtze. He can appoint any kohen as a shaliach to do it. And again, avodatav orala anshem. The eating of the meat and the hide goes to the mishma. So my kamash was a chiddush tanina. Kohen gadol makriv oinen veina oichel. He doesn't get food later on. And because he can be makriv himself, he can give it to another kohen to do. He can't eat. So when was the Torah compassionate for Kohen Gadol to allow him to work as an onen? Likruvehu, maybe for him to be makravit. But to allow him to appoint a shaliach, who says he's allowed to do? Kamash Malon, that he's allowed to appoint a shaliach as well. Mishnah. Agoizel sager. A person steals from a ger and the ger doesn't have any family. Vinish below. And he takes an oath to the ger that he didn't steal it, but umeis, and the ger dies, and the gazan wants to do tshuva. Harezim mishalim keren, v'choymesh l'kohanim, and osham lamizbeach. He gives the keren to kohanim and a choymesh, and he brings an ayal as an osham. Shneimar. V'mein le'ish go'el, la'ashiv hasham elav. If the ger doesn't have family, to be able to return what was stolen, hasham mushav l'Hashem la'kohen. That which is returned goes to the kohen. Milvad ela kipur masheich aper bo alav, and he has to bring a korban. Hayemale esa kesef esa asham umes. So he's on his way to Yerushalayim to bring the money to give to the Kohanim and to offer the asham, and the gazlis. Hakesef yinasei levana. So you give the money to the sons of the gazlan. The asham yira achi yistoiv. The asham is sent out to graze until it gets a mum, and then yimkor v'yiplu damav l'nadava. You sell it, and the money is used to buy olos that are offered on the mizbeach. Now, if nasna kesef, if the gazlan had already paid the money to the anshe mishmar umeis, but he had not been makriv the korban, so eina yorshim yichol l'lotzim yadav. The money that was paid to the mishmar is paid. They can't get that money back. Shenemar v'isha sheitein lakohen lo yiyah. Nosan hakesev l'Yehoyarav. Yehoyarav was the name of one of the mishmars. And then Yehoyarav went home, and the next week was Yedaya. And the Gazlan gave the korban to the mishmar of Yedaya. Yotza. So even though the money was given to one mishmar, and the korban is makriv by another mishmar, that works. But the vice versa, if you do the asham liyarav, you gave the korban to Yarav, and then as a kesef liyada, so im kayim asham, if the asham had not been offered yet, yikreviu b'nei yedaya, the b'nei yedaya should take the asham and be makrivid, and then they can keep the kesef. But the imlo, if the asham had been offered already by the Yarav, Yachzir, the money has to be returned. V'yavi asham acher, and then he has to give the money and the asham again to the next mishmar. Maybe gzelo at shaloi v'yashamo yatsa. If you give the money to pay back the gezel, and the korban hasn't been offered, yatsa. But if the korban was offered when the money was not paid, then the korban. It means if the fifth hadn't been paid, you could still bring the korban, and the korban is not ruined because the chomesh wasn't brought. Ton Rabbanan. Asham zekeren. The pasuk of v'me'ein la'ish go'el, ha'asham ha'mushav l'Hashem, it refers to the principle of what was stolen. And ha'mushav zechoimish, that's the fifth. Oh, eno, maybe not. Ella, asham za'ayil. Maybe asham refers to the korban. Now, ulamai nafkamina. What does it matter to us whether the word asham refers to the kesef or the korban? Lafukame Rava, to show that we don't hold like Rava. Shama Rava, gezel ager shechzir balayla lo yotza. If you return the money at night to the Kohanim, it's not yotze. And hechzir chatzoin lo yotza. If you return it, half of it, you're also not yotze. My time, huh? Asham kari rachmana. The Torah refers to the money that you're returning as an asham. Now, an asham cannot be offered at night. You can't offer half an asham. So that's why it's important for us to know whether the word asham refers to the korban or the keren. So now we go back to the Baraisa. Kishu omer milvad ela kippurim. Well, that's clearly referring to the korban. So therefore, the first mention of the word asham in that pasuk is keren. It refers to the return of the theft. Tanya idich. There's another brisa. Asham zekeren, amushav zechoimish. Oh, eno ela, maybe asham zechoimish. Maybe the word asham refers to the fifth. And the Gemara quickly says, Lamai nafkamina. Why would that make a difference for us? La'afuke mimas nisan. To show that we don't hold like the following Mishnah, it is not. Our Mishnah said that not giving the chomesh doesn't ma'akev this whole process. And if we would say that the first mention of the word asham means chomesh, adarabba, chomesh ma'akev. So we would have a different halacha. So the brisa continues. Kishu oimer ve'shivas hashamo b'rosho v'chamishiso. So that's clearly referring to the chomesh. Maspi avi oimer asham zekeren. So the first mention of the word asham refers to the keren, not the chomesh. Third brisa, Tanyida. Asham zekeren. Hamushav zechomesh. This pasuk is referring to the whole sugya of stealing from a ger, and then he dies, and he has no family, and you have to return it to the kohanim. Oh, eino ella something else. Maybe the pasuk of imein la'ish goel lashiva hasham elav hasham mushav hasham lakohen milvad ela kiprim. Maybe that pasuk has nothing to do with gezel ger. Meaning, hamushav ze kefel refers to paying kefel. Uvigneva sagera kosu medaber. When you steal from a ger, and then when you want to do tshuva, you have to pay kefel. So kishu oimer ve'shivas hashamo brosho v'chamishiso harei b'momen hamishtalim b'rosh. That's referring to money that's paid initially, which is keren akosu medaber, and not kefil. Okay. So we have three baraisas. Gufa. So we're going to analyze certain details of these baraisas that we quoted. Amarava. Gezla ger shechzir balayla lo yotze. Echzir chatzoin lo yotze. We said that if you return the money to the kohanim at night, it doesn't work. And if you return half of it, it doesn't work. My time, Asham Kayrachman. The Torah referred to the keren that's repaid as an Asham. You cannot offer an Asham at night, and you cannot offer half of an Asham. Amarava, Gezel Ager, She'ein bo shavar pruta l'chol kohen v'kohen, lo yotze dechol vaso. Let's say there were 1,000 kohanim. You're returning 999 prutot. So there isn't a pruta for every kohen. Therefore, you're not yotze. My timer, d'chsiva ashama mushav. Ad she ashav l'chol kohen v'kohen. You have to have some kind of monetary return to each coin. If it's less than a pruta, it's not called a hashava. So if the gezel that you did from the ger was less than this, you got to make up the difference until at least you give each coin a pruta. So even if what was stolen was only 900 prutot, you have to add 100 prutot from your own pocket so that you'd be able to give each coin a pruta. Otherwise, you're not yotze the chazara. If you want to be yotze the chazara, you'll have to follow that amendment. Boy Rav. Ein bo lemishmeret yorav. But yesh bo lemishmeret yadayim mai. let's say there were 1,000 Kohanim in Mishmar Yoirav, but there were 800 Kohanim in Mishmar Yedaya. So a 900 pruta theft would cover Yedaya, wouldn't cover Yoirav. So what's the din? Hechidam. If you did the return during Mishmeres Yeda Ha'isbe, you have no problem. No, lo tzricha diyav v'liyada b'mishmarta diyarav. You gave it to the Yedaya Mishmar while Yeharav was there. My. Mi amrinan kiva delav mishmarta hu lo klumu. It's not Yedaya's Mishmar, so it's not anything. Oy dilma kiva de lo chazi lei, but it's not enough for the Mishmar of Yeharav, mikar liyadei. Maybe it's set aside for Yedaya. Take that, there's no answer, and it's a suffix. Boy Rav. Kohanim, mar shichalku gez lager keneged gez lager. They make a cheshbon between themselves. There are two gers that there are two gezla gers that have to be returned, and the two mishmars make a deal with even within the mishmar, between the mishmars, that we'll take all of this gezel and you'll take all of that gezel. Mi amrina an asham kairachmana ma asham ein chokim asham keneged asham. When you offer a korban asham, and there's meat to be divided among the Kohanim, every Kohen gets a piece. They can't agree, you eat the whole korban asham, I'll eat the next one. No, each one is divided separately. So Av Gezel, Hager, is Ein Chokin Gez Lager, Keneged Gez Lager, can't do the same thing. Oh, Dilma, maybe Gez Lager is Mamonahu. Money, they can divide like that. So Hadar Pashta, Asham Karechman. Since the Torah calls it an Asham, has to be treated like a korban. And therefore there's no Ichalku Keneged each other. Ravacha ben Rava Mahanila Masila Badei. Rav Kohanim ein Cholkin Gez Lager Keneged Gez Lager. My time. Asham Karechman. Okay. I'm going to stop here. Because we have the Navi Shir in a few minutes. And
What time tomorrow?
Tomorrow we'll learn at 7:30. Like
Okay.
regular 7:30.
All right. So yeah.